The levels are set. The mics are ready.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
So strap yourself in. It's time to go one-on-one with Bill Alexander.
Let's go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of One-on-One with Bill Alexander as we broadcast. And right now, I have the pleasure of finally seeing one of my guests that I've had on my program for ages by the name of Anna Vocino. Anna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. How are you? You are the one fielding technical snafus, which can frustrate an individual.
But again, technology is great when it works. And that's one of those things that you can't get it to work all the time, because we were having issues with our Zoom connection, that there was actually two of me on the screen, which I still have no idea why, but hey. So where are you at today? Did you fill out that thing?
Did you fill out that thing behind you, or did you buy it pre-populated with all those words?
This here?
Yeah. Did somebody fill that out?
It was pre-populated. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Did I ruin your day?
Means less.
Actually,
strength, truth, sing out, bold. There's a bicycle. Believe. It's so nice. I thought people were like, let's cheer up Bill. Let's make him a chalkboard card.
Actually, it was in another room in my house. My wife decided to redecorate, and she said, "We're going to donate this." And I said, "No, we're not." I said, "I'm going to take it and put it in my room." So I did.
Motivation.
So again, it's there, but I'm glad that you could join me today. And
thanks for having me.
Where are you at right now? What part of the
house?
Right
now I'm in my new office. We painted it very dark. It's dark green.
I can tell.
My booth is right behind me over there. Let's see if that's where I go in to record the voiceovers.
Okay.
But podcasting, I just sit in front of the desk, and that's why you hear a little room tone, because I don't care that much. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No, it's not just your podcast. It's any podcast. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Even my own. I'm just going to sit here and do the roadcaster, and it'll be easy.
I was just excited that I thought I was going to be in your kitchen today.
Oh, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll set it up and I'll cook.
Yeah, I was hoping, but I guess you have to be with NBC sometime later today.
You got the non-cooking Anna today.
So how long have you actually been podcasting now?
Okay. Podcasting with Vinnie Tortorich since March 2012.
Okay.
Podcasting with the Yoda and Me podcast that started in 2009. And I had to write XML code.
Ooh.
For it to update and sync to Apple iTunes.
Why did you have to write XML?
Because there wasn't a cute little plugin. Like WordPress in 2009 wasn't a thing. There wasn't like a Blueberry plugin or whatever one of the first plugins was that you could put on a blog.
Actually, there was.
Well, it wasn't marketed to me.
Because I started in 2006. And I was able to get... And I had a little plugin I was able to use.
I feel enraged upon hearing this.
I bet you do, because I
had to learn how to update XML code.
XML code is just way beyond my grasp, so I can't imagine trying to figure that out.
I don't know what I was doing. The guy who knew what he was doing said, if you want to, here's what you do, and you just copy and paste this thing. And so that's it. Let's be honest, I wasn't. And by the way, there's one episode that just never made it, and I kept checking it. It just never made it. It just never made it onto iTunes, and we would get written, because that podcast, Yoda and Me, became like a little cult hit. And, millions and millions of downloads. And I would constantly every day get emails like, hey, where's episode 7? I'd be like, I don't know. It's the missing episode. It will never happen. You can't find that podcast anymore. We took it down. But yeah, that was my job, and I couldn't get that right.
So that's really interesting. For those of you that don't know who I'm talking to, and those that do, I don't have to explain this, but I will. Anna actually is an actress, voiceover, comedian, cookbooker, and anything else I'm forgetting.
Well, now I'm slinging sauce, baby. I've launched a food brand. Mm-hmm.
I forgot
soon to be spices. Our spices are about to come out too.
So which spices are coming out?
We're doing the taco seasoning, what's called the dill, which is the ranch seasoning, and the barbecue dust.
And like I said, I could be your national spokesman for the tacos.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's really, I made it last night, actually yesterday for lunch. I just heated up some ground beef, threw that on there. It was delicious. And I just got into a big argument. See, you hire experts to tell you what to do, right?
Right.
And then you fight with them. Right. And then you fight with them because they tell you what you have to do in order to do things. And then you're like, that's really stupid. Why do we do things that way? Like as a society? And they're like, we don't know. It's just in the regulations. And so I just got off of an argument with my compliance people because my whole audience with the cookbooking stuff it still is no sugars, no grains, started by Vinnie Tortorich. And I am the cookbook, the food portion of that. And we have a weekly podcast and he does 5 a week. I do one with him called Fitness Confidential. And I wrote 2 cookbooks for it and then decided I'm going to sell one. A guy called me who's a food manufacturer. He says, I've lost like 80 pounds eating from your cookbooks. Oh my, stop it. That's me. With my hair done and everything. I brushed my hair for that picture. So he said, I've lost 80 pounds cooking from your books. I think we can do your sauces. I've heard you talk about how you want to do your sauces because at the time I would go into the grocery store and pick up a sauce and there wasn't one that had no sugar added and organic, like nice ingredients. There's always some schmutz in there. We don't want that in there. Like when did food manufacturers decide that salt and sugar and, potato starch and cornstarch have to be in every single thing that we eat, right? Tomato sauce is not supposed to be that.
When Vinny and I talked, it's filler. So they don't have to use all the real ingredients.
It's filler. It's very cheap.
Yeah.
So, and also too, our taste buds have changed because we're so hooked on the processed foods, right? So you taste a regular tomato sauce and I've been making mine homemade for 25 years, right? And then I tasted some of these store-bought ones. I'm like, oh God, I can do much better than that, y'all. I'm gonna do y'all a solid, put out a good quality sauce. So we developed it and we now have 4 flavors. And so for the spices, I hired a compliance expert to review the labels.
Okay.
Because we're going to go pretty much straight into grocery store and you want to be compliant for FDA regulations, all that, you know what I mean? You want to not mislead people. And by the way, that's my entire platform is telling the truth about food. So I'm not going to go and like do something shady. We just won't scale up to that level. Things are going to cost a little more. Like they're nice quality ingredients. And for me to get certified organic was really important with these spices. So I get in this argument that I can't put no sugar added.
Why?
On the back of the taco seasoning. By the way, my husband just told me, don't go on the air and start talking about this. But I was so worked up. Don't put no sugar added because even though there is no sugar added, and by the way, if you look at El Paso taco seasoning, Walmart brand taco seasoning, McCormick organic taco seasoning, basically everything but McCormick regular, what's Ortego regular taco seasoning, they all have sugar listed in the ingredient, either sugar or evaporated cane syrup or brown sugar, which are all sugar, right?
Yeah.
And so the compliance expert said, you can't say no sugar added for something that regularly doesn't have sugar. And I said, you are correct technically. Taco seasoning should be a collection of spices and salt. That's what it should be. But it's now become bastardized that when you look at the top results on Walmart.com for all their taco seasonings, they all have sugar in them except McCormick regular. You're welcome. Go buy McCormick regular, which has either potato starch or cornstarch in it. So I can't, but again, another form of something that your liver considers a sugar, but I'm not even going to go there with that argument. Right. So I say, well, all of these other ones have sugar. And she goes, doesn't matter. Taco seasoning traditionally doesn't have sugar. So, and I'm like, well, then what's going to happen? She goes, the FDA will write you a letter. Fine. Okay.
What's it going to say?
What am I going to? I don't know. You have to be burned at the stake. You're a witch. I don't know. Am I going to lose my house? Maybe because I put no sugar added on something that if pretty much everything else, you go to the store, you look at the back. I challenge your listeners to go to the store and find me something that doesn't have sugar in the back. They all have sugar. So my business partner's like, just take it off. And I'm like, no, I don't want to take it off because I'm being a good guy here.
I just can't imagine why there'd be such an issue. I mean, I'm sure when taco seasoning was originally packaged 30 and 40 and 50 years ago, there was no sugar.
Right.
But over the last probably 10, 15, 20 years, they've added it. But remember, America's tastes have changed because of these chain restaurants that we go to. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that that's one of the reasons why they've added the sugar.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that Taco Bell taco seasoning that they sell at Walmart.com also has sugar in it.
No, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, that's just it. We're so used to it now, but it could still be argued that taco seasoning as a recipe should not have sugar. It's like, yeah, no, I know it should not.
I agree.
And by the way, the recipe is from my first book. We just scaled it up because you have to take the tablespoons and teaspoons and convert them into grams, and you scale it up so you can make it on a bigger scale and then put them in the little things. So if you want to make it homemade, get my first book and you can just make it yourself. Okay. And you don't even have to buy my no sugar added product and get the FDA to send me a letter about it. You know what I mean?
Now, did you get the packaging straightened out on that? Yeah. Are you doing it in glass bottles? You doing it in packages? What are you doing it?
We are doing these little paper tubes with metal ends. And the paper tubes are made from recycled materials. We will have to do a little shrink wrap around the top. It's like a canister. So we will have to do a little shrink wrap around the top. So we will have to use a little bit of plastic, which bums me out. But until we figure out a new way to shrink wrap things or make that biodegradable, it is what it is. But I just didn't want to do giant plastic bottles because I'm always like, more plastic. Let's just keep throwing them. Who cares?
For a moment there, I thought you were going to put them in Ziploc bags and sell them behind the dumpster in the back.
You can also snort any of my spices. And I'm pretty sure the FDA would not like me to say that. Kids are doing it on TikTok anyway.
They're snorting taco seasoning?
I don't know. They'll do something. They're eating cinnamon.
That's a great marketing
campaign. They could die. Snort the taco seasoning. Maybe barbecue dust. That seems more like, because it dust, sounds like magic dust.
I got you. So what are the three seasonings? Taco seasonings.
Seasoning, the dill, which is a ranch seasoning, and barbecue dust. Yeah.
Okay.
And the ranch seasoning is incredible. I made wings the other day and then made the ranch with it.
So and I'm going to sound very I don't know what the word to say, but do you have a recipe for wings? And if you tell me it's in the cookbook that I have sitting next to me right now, I'm going to be really upset for not finding it.
Yep. It's like, I think page 17 or 18. It's in the starters chapter. There's buffalo wings with homemade ranch sauce. And then if you go to also the dressing chapter, there's the homemade ranch sauce and a dairy-free ranch. And both of them are killer.
In the starters?
In the starters. Buffalo.
You mean the buffalo hot wings?
Yes.
And ranch dressing.
Yeah. That's the one. You mean the thing I just said?
Yeah, but it's page 26 and 27.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't have the page.
But this is the book. Just
Eat
to
Happy
let you know
has it. Yeah. It's really easy to make wings. I made some on Facebook Live on Saturday. You can look at my Facebook too. It's really easy to make. I was making, because I have a pumpkin marinara coming out. So I did like a different.
I was going to ask you if you were going to do that.
I did. I made pumpkin marinara wings and they're really good.
So did you do that for the Halloween season or what?
Yeah, I like a festive fall food.
Because
who doesn't like to be in the spirit?
If you had a pumpkin latte that you were doing, but
I do. I did it on Instagram Live the other day. That's one of my most popular recipes at my site. It's a sugar-free pumpkin spice latte. You don't need the sugar. Well, especially if you've quit sugar, your taste buds reset and you're like that. Oh, that tastes great. In fact, my husband got very upset because I made it for Instagram Live, and then he's like, "Why don't you ever make this for me?" And I was like, "Because you're not the internet, okay?"
Yeah, I can't sell any product to you.
Yeah, exactly. You won't buy anything.
Actually, after talking to when I talked to Vinny last, and he told me, and I have not drank anything with sugar in it.
Good job.
Since February, I've been drinking.
Great job.
Like I said, water and iced coffee has basically been it.
I have a still water, and I have a bubble water. That's my excitement.
And I have a bottle of bourbon. But
yeah, anyway. I had a lot of whiskey the other night, and I was so deep in ketosis that I didn't realize how hammered I was. And I stood up and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like in college again and had done a bunch of shots. It was so weird and also terrible because I was so hungover the next day because I'm definitely not in college anymore and I could not handle it.
But the thing now, I will
It'll
say
still
this
mess
about,
you up, even if you don't have
about
mixtures
bourbon.
with your drinks.
With bourbon, I don't get hungover the next day.
Oh, not when you drank the amount that I drank. You will.
Oh no,
Oh no, you do.
My son turned 21 in May, and when we went on vacation with him and his girlfriend and everything, we decided we were going to have his 21st birthday party.
Right.
So Dad went to the liquor store and bought the alcohol, and they were drinking everything else. I was drinking I drank a whole bottle of bourbon that night and didn't feel anything the next day. Yeah. I have Everclear if you want some of that.
I used to make limoncello all the time with Everclear, and now we have a black walnut tree, and I make nocino, which is nocino di San Gimignano, which is a black walnut liqueur.
I sound like a complete
I never
idiot.
drink it, but it will make you'll fall on the floor. I'll get you. I'm going to get you, Bill Alexander.
I sound like a complete idiot when I say this, but I've never had limoncello before.
Most Americans haven't, and you're actually from an Italian area, and you haven't had it.
And I know a lot of people that make it, and I've never had it before. Which is now moonshine.
It's too sweet, I think.
Moonshine. I know a lot of people around here that make that too. That I've had.
Well, in California, we don't have the same Everclear that you guys probably have. Our Everclear is only 150 proof. I think y'all's is 191. So they have good limoncello because you use Everclear.
Do me a favor. Keep talking. I'll go grab my bottle.
Okay, I want to see what this thing is. Listen, here's how you make limoncello, audience. Take a bottle of Everclear, and if you're a nerd like me, you filter it through a Brita filter. I have a Brita filter reserved just for Everclear.
Isn't it Brita filter?
Brita? So I don't know. I say I say it like a German. I don't know. Brita. It's a Brita filter. Okay.
So what's yours? 151.
Yeah. What's yours?
151.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a US thing.
I will tell you this. I got this in North Carolina. I did not get this.
Oh, well, North Carolina, they might. Although California, they love their alcohol in California. There's no dry counties or anything. You know what I mean? You can buy beer on Sunday, all that stuff.
Right. So, well, we can't hear now too.
Congratulations. But you still have to go to the package store, right? You have to go to the ABC.
Actually, not necessarily. You can actually go to a convenience store now, buy beer and wine, and you can go to some Walmarts and buy beer and wine.
Wow.
Yeah, we finally moved forward. But again,
I wonder if Virginia has moved forward because that was all you could only go to the ABC.
But when it comes to spirits, as they call them, I would rather go to a liquor store to be able to get it because I have more of a variety there than what
that's true.
I do. But I find that interesting. But I used
I was telling the audience when you went away how to make the limoncello. Get your Everclear, get the zest of 20 lemons, dump the zest in Everclear in a big mason jar. Okay. I try to do 2 500 ml, like a liter of Everclear, right? And those are like you have to do 3 or 4 of those, I think, to get a liter. The little ones that you had. Zest of 20 lemons. Put a date sticker on it. Put it under the cabinet for a month. Take it back out. Make some simple syrup. My simple syrup is not a regular simple syrup. Simple syrup generally is equal parts water to sugar. So 1 cup of water to 1 cup of sugar. So you're gonna do like basically a liter of water, a liter of sugar. You're not gonna do that. That's too much. So do like 4 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar, because then you'll have like a bunch of stuff. And then it's sweet enough. Trust me. Limoncello is too sweet. And then you pour it back in, let it sit another month. You strain it. I put it through a coffee strainer, like the coffee filter, and put it in cute bottles, give it as gifts. Everyone will love you. It's like liquid Xanax. I'm not going to lie. I haven't had it in years because I don't have sugar anymore, but I will make it and give it to other people. I just made fig jam the other day and gave it away. I was like, I'm a maniac.
I've made moonshine before, and I have my own still. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Like a copper pot still.
Well, actually, you can buy it on Amazon. That's the scary part.
Nice.
And it's not made for making moonshine. It's made for distilling water. Mm-hmm. Well, why would you want to distill water when you can go buy a gallon at Walmart for 99 cents?
Right.
So I've made it, and I finished the last jar that I had. It was 3 years ago I made it. Last jar last month, and it was almost 90 proof.
That's 181.
Yeah. I mean, it was, but the funny thing is when I made it, I tasted it the first time and I thought it didn't taste right. So I kept it stashed somewhere in my basement so the kids couldn't find it. And then I went out with some friends and they had moonshine and I drank it and I'm going, this tastes as bad as the stuff I make.
I think it's supposed to be pretty harsh.
Oh,
right?
But it, again, I could use it as lighter fluid, but
could you infuse something in it to make it better? Like maybe some berries
but I couldn't get it to work.
Cherries.
Right. So, but
I just infused vodka with blackberries from the farm and it took 5 days. And then on the 5th day, I smashed it for a second and then strained it. And it is beautiful.
Well, my wife does that with bourbon. She does apple and cinnamon.
Yes.
And she does that. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
But she has a new drink.
Yeah. If the moonshine is strong, it's just going to be strong.
Yeah. She has a new drink now. It's apple cider and vanilla vodka mixed together.
That's some festive fall drinking.
Yes. And it warms you up on the inside out. That's what it does. So you and I haven't talked for a while. Yeah. And I was wondering what.
Yeah, Mr. I'm never going back to broadcast. I'm never podcasting or going back to broadcast.
Well, the thing is I was still doing radio.
Let's do it. Huh?
I was still doing radio, and something happened that got somebody said something to me. And I said, you know what? Why am I stopping this? That's just stupid. So
good. I'm glad you're back.
Put everything back up, change the name of the program and format it a little bit different. So now I can see you and you can see me and they can see us. So it works out real well.
What do you put this on the YouTube?
It's on the YouTube. There's a YouTube version of it. There's also a audio version of it. And it also airs on local cable. Perfect. That we were able to get a deal back with them because we used to do it before. And now it gives me the opportunity to be local.
Now I'm thinking, how much cussing have I done?
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
You bleep it.
No, it's cable. We don't have to worry
about. Oh,
you
can say words.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only one you said it would be questionable was bastardized, but that's okay. We can get around that one.
Pasteurized or bastardized?
Bastardized.
Don't say pasteurized. That's offensive.
Depending on who you talk to. Anyway, so I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about doing this interview with you. Have you done any TV work recently other than maybe voiceovers?
I don't think so. I mean, I shot an AT&T commercial back in January, but I don't think that's running anymore.
Okay.
No, I just do voiceovers.
Okay. If someone approached you and said, hey, we want you for the new NCIS Los Angeles, would you be willing to do it?
Yeah. Why, do you have a job offer for me?
No, but everybody else gets an NCIS program, so I figured you might as well have one.
I might as well.
Or Law and Order or something or another.
Yeah. I'd join in the Benson and Stabler game.
Yeah. Law and Order retirement home. I think you could do really well there.
I think I would. You're correct.
But I was just wondering because we're noticing now in TV that we're noticing scripted television programs are starting to come back.
Yeah, they are.
What is your thought on that? Because we're not seeing as many reality programs. Do you think the reality program has finally ran its course?
No, I think there'll be always room for reality. I think that if I were to move to Hollywood today as a young person with any aspirations of producing, I would go into reality television.
Why?
Because you will faster get your projects on the air.
Okay. But doesn't it reach a point where the audience is tired of watching the same thing over and over again?
Apparently not.
Because we're Dancing with the Stars.
Season 400.
We have celebrities that most people have never heard of.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's me reading every Us Weekly. I'm like, who are these people? If they're not on Bravo, I don't know who they are.
And well, the funny thing is I was filling in for the morning guy on my station and I had to do birthdays of the day. And the problem is 3/4 of them were TikTok stars, YouTube stars, or Instagram stars. I'm going, I have no idea who these people are.
I'm
might control
enjoying
the audience that
TikTok,
too.
but I don't think the TikTok algorithm is showing me the influencers. It's showing me like have you seen the ones where the dogs will press the word buttons like they're learning
Yes.
words? I'm obsessed with those.
So
How do they do that?
they put something on it for it to sniff, I guess. I don't know.
Is that what it is?
So
I was like, my
So
dog's so dumb. She couldn't do that.
how often do you watch TikTok?
Maybe a couple times a week. It is a time toilet. Like you can't help it. Like you're like, you just become a maniac and you start watching it. And then.
Because my wife is addicted to it.
Yeah. Everybody's addicted to it.
And again, she's doing the hacks that they have and this other stuff.
Yeah.
And the hacks they have are ridiculous because there's an easier way than what they're showing me. I know there is. And there's some cooking tips now and this, that, and the other thing. And I just can't see sitting there watching it, but that's just me. But again, I sit in a room and talk to myself on a regular basis.
I don't understand it either. And yet here we are as a society. Yeah. I don't think anybody actually makes any, by the way, I'm always thrilled when somebody makes something for my cookbooks and posts a picture in the Facebook group or tags me in a Twitter or Instagram. I love it. It makes my day. But the amount of books that I've sold versus the pictures that I actually get of people doing something is the ratio's like very slim. So I don't think people are like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get her books and I'm going to do this. And I'm here to say, I do make it as easy as possible. Like that's my whole goal because I was that mom who was making 3 different dinners to make everybody happy and like trying to be time getting the thing. I feel everybody on all these things. So I'm not judging at all. I just have to say, I have to laugh because, it takes a little while to get somebody in the kitchen and really wanting to do it. So watching the TikToks is a lot more satisfying sometimes than getting up and trying it on your own if you don't have the kitchen experience. That's so true. Get in the kitchen.
But the other thing is that you don't care if they post pictures or not, just as long as they buy the cookbook, right?
Oh no, I want the community. That's what keeps me going. No, if people don't post pictures, then I'm like, no one cares and I'm not going to engage. Yeah. No, it means a lot to me to connect with people.
So are you ever going to go on that book signing tour or are you going to wait till book number 3?
Maybe wait till book number 3.
The next
I'm not going. I don't want to. I'm going to Vegas October 15th and 16th. I'm speaking at Las Vegas Keto Convention and I'm really excited to do it and also very apprehensive about getting a breakthrough case. I don't want no breakthrough case.
Oh, I can imagine. So you've been.
That's my first time traveling in 2 years.
Yeah, I haven't gone really anywhere. So you've been vaccinated?
Yes.
I got all 3. I got 3.
You did? You got the booster?
Yeah. Yeah. And the only reason I got the booster is my wife made me do it because I was going back into the classroom again.
Yeah. I joyfully got that shot in my arm the first moment I could. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we're having breakthrough cases right now happening, but it's not with adults. It's with teenagers.
By the way, a lot of folks, I do a Monday Clubhouse for people to check in, right? Have you been you're on the Clubhouse, right?
I've been in there occasionally. Yeah.
Okay. I like the Clubhouse because it's like what we're doing, but then people get to actually like when you're listening to a podcast and you like are yelling at them because you want to say something like, it's like that. You can actually communicate with the podcasters while it's happening. And so I use it for like a check-in. So for anybody who's in the community who wants to check in, give their goals, say hi, whatever, ask questions. Great. And, I feel like I forgot what I was going to say.
Well,
what was I going to say, Bill?
Let me ask you this question, because you're talking about Clubhouse and you're talking about this. Your social media presence, how long does it take you every day to do everything that you do? Because it seems like you're everywhere right now.
I am. I know what I was going to say, and that was, but I just keep hearing stories from people all over the country, and it's mostly my friends and people in my community who have teenagers and kids went back to school, and then all the parents got breakthrough cases, and the kids were fine, and the parents were better. You know what I mean? Everybody has said, "Thank God I had the vaccine," because I can't imagine having had that without the vaccine.
Right?
I couldn't agree more. That's what, Anyway. I know it's a very divisive subject, but I have no problem admitting it on the air.
Oh, I don't either. I don't either.
Happy to, stick me with that stuff. I do not want to catch that COVID. Yeah. Anyway, call me a sheeple. I don't want COVID. How do I get social media done? Well, I have now generated enough. I have over 500 published recipes.
Okay.
Between my book and between now, they might not be published publicly. They might be in the books, but I can still use pictures and promote things. So I try to, I made a commitment to being more present, doing more live video, more live content. And I have somebody to set up stuff. And then I found out that 50% of my traffic to my website, where all of my recipes, new recipes get put up, 50% comes from Pinterest. Well, I don't know Pinterest. So I, paid somebody to learn Pinterest and do the Pinterest thing. And now it's generated even more traffic. I love Instagram. That's where I like to be the most. And I love Clubhouse because you don't have to, put your face on. You can just talk. Mm-hmm. I know I should be putting out more TikToks, and I put out a few. And then my daughter was mortified by hearing that.
Well,
don't go on TikTok.
Sure.
She's 22. She's like,
I'm sure she is.
How dare
I'm sure she is mortified of that, because my kids are mortified because my wife has threatened it a handful of times that she was going to do her own. But the thing is when you started this, the cookbook, the online presence, did you think it would be a full-time job?
No,
because it sounds to me like what you're doing, it is a full-time job.
It is. And I pay Megan to help me out with everything. She's doing great. And Megan also is Megan every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning for an hour calls grocery stores around the country and says, what's your buyer's email? And then emails them, because we're trying to get the sauces into stores because it's very expensive to ship sauces. And I think the number one thing that people aren't, who don't buy the sauce is because unless you can buy a case and I can float the shipping, they can't afford the shipping. And I totally get that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm getting the sauce to the people, and I pay Megan to call up, and we're getting it in grocery stores. It's happening very slowly, but to me, it's a big investment in this whole brand that I'm building. And with voiceover and comedy,
how much comedy have you done?
Nothing. My husband and I did a show a couple of weeks ago, an outdoor show in North Hollywood. And it was just like, I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to share a mic. I don't want, you know what I mean? It's like, until this thing is done. And but voiceover is very busy, and I can do voiceover from wherever, but so everything's just kind of flexible and I can fit it in. And I'm so lucky to be the voice of NBC or the female voice of NBC, and being able to work stuff in. And that's great. But here's the thing. Everything has gotten even more splintered. So the people who are on Instagram are not on Facebook. The people who are on Facebook are not on YouTube. And so I noticed that you have to repurpose content, or, for example, I put a recipe on Instagram Reels that's only on Instagram Reels. And if you want it, you have to go there and get it.
Okay.
You don't have to follow me, but you have to go there and get it. But then you're spending time, driving traffic to these platforms as opposed to your own thing. And ultimately, I have, and Vinny has spent a lot of time putting a lot of free content out there, and we're happy to do it. But eventually there is a law of reciprocity where of course I want people to buy the books. I want to make a living.
Yeah.
I want people to buy the sauce. I'm like, you're going to buy sauce at the grocery store anyway. Why not buy my sauce? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to sell stuff that you don't need or couldn't use. I always want it to be useful and a wonderful, a well-worn cookbook. When people send me pictures of that, it makes me so happy,
So, but one thing that amazes me about you, because at least with mine, you answer me, but do you answer all your email?
I try to.
Okay. Because
unless you're a total a-hole.
Because I've dealt with other people and I get their assistants answering back. And you're the only one I know that when I send it, I usually get a response immediately.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unique.
People are shocked. Somebody got they ordered some sauce, and one of the 2-packs had the jar had popped open and the sauce leaked, and they basically received like a horror movie on their doorstep. And which is horrible. And as a business owner, you're like, oh my God, that's so bad. I write back so fast to people, it makes their head spin, because we're so used to, and listen, there's going to become a time when it will get too big and I won't be able to do that.
Right.
But to me, it's like, you guys are the ones spending your money on this. Like, I want you to be taken care of. I want people, my community and my network, to be heard. And yes, there are times when I can't respond right away, but if you and I are booking something, I'm going to respond right away, because I respect both of our time, and you do too. That's just what I'm going to do. So I think it's just a matter of priority. And then you kind of know too, when people don't respond. You're like, well, okay, I know where I fall in the pecking order. Like we've all been there.
I have a couple of them right now. Sure, we'll be more than happy to do it. It's been 3 months and I keep going, so are you still alive? Are you planning on doing anything? And I go, after a certain point, I'm done.
Yeah.
So.
Some people don't communicate back well. And I always I joke with Vinny because he has a different communication style. I'm like, what do you, Vinny will text me a question, right? Like, hey, do you want to podcast at like 4:00 on Thursday? Let's say that's the thing. And I write him back right away. Yeah. I say, yeah, but can you do 3:30? And then I'm like, Vinny, do you throw your phone into a volcano like right after you text me? Because like I won't hear back from him for like 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened? It's just people have different communication styles and you just can't be mad about it. It's just how it is. And people are overwhelmed. And I get that. I am overwhelmed. I am absolutely overwhelmed. But I also, I don't have a kid at home. I sent one off into the world and I can just do me for now. And I feel like I'm in a lucky position. If somebody were trying to do what I'm doing, but also raising small children, no way.
I understand that. Because lucky for me, my youngest is 14, my middle is 17, and my oldest is 21.
Yeah.
So he's graduating college this year. And you and I talked about him before that he's the musical theater major.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And a handful of people that he's working with said, you need to go try first. Before you say you're not going to do it, you need to go try. And he's actually looking at going out there and going to New York and seeing what can happen.
That's great.
He's had a couple
he definitely
people
should
recommend agents to him that he should
well,
look
that's
into. So we'll see what happens.
That's very coveted. So
yeah,
agents are very tough to get when you're getting started.
Yeah.
Is he going to showcase? Like, is that part of the process? Okay. Well, then agents should be coming to his showcases, right?
Yeah. Well, that's from what I understand. Yes. So fingers crossed, everything looks good. And then hopefully someday he'll be able to take care of me. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
No
but
pressure
someday.
or anything.
No, not at all. He did. I don't know if I told you this or not. He did the musical Xanadu this summer. And not only did he roller skate.
And that's the best thing I've ever heard.
It was amazing. I mean, I was so proud of this kid. They learned to roller skate and sing and act on roller skates.
He's like living out my 7-year-old dream.
Yeah. And he will be Buddy the Elf in Elf the Musical.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
5 weeks. So
that's great.
Yeah, he's having a good time, that's all that is important. So
he's killing it. He's doing great.
Yeah, he is. He's doing wonderful.
So does he want to go straight to New York or LA?
He didn't at first. He actually wanted to go into a career in nursing because my kids are very safe when it comes to plans.
Yeah.
And he had his plan B and that's what he wanted it to be. But now he's been talked to by a few of his teachers and they said, no, you need to go try first before you just say you're going. Yeah.
Nursing will always be waiting. The time to strike with the entertainment industry is when you're as young as possible. Cause I remember coming to LA when I was 28 and having a pretty good resume from working in Atlanta. And so many people saying you're just too old. And now I look back at that, you're 28, you're too old. It's insane.
So we'll see what happens, but that's
good for him. I'm proud of him.
May. He graduates next May. So I finally get to see where you do this stuff at. So the room behind you is your voice booth. Is it the other?
The voice booth right there.
So how big is that?
It's 3.5 feet by 5 feet. The guy who built my kitchen cabinets built that. And here's what he said to me, and I quote, I said, Mike, I need a booth for voiceover. Can you build it? And he said, sure. I just built one for Ray Parker Jr. So I can do one for you. And I was like, okay, those were literally the magic words I needed to hear. And he built me a fantastic booth. And it would have cost about the same as ordering one of those ones that has a gray
I've seen them.
Outside. But now we have this beautiful color, this green color in this office. We got some stuff. We got the Dumb and Dumber poster right there. I need to clean the thing off. Got a little desk. We remodeled this entire house. We've been working on this for a year. So, and we have a beautiful lighting fixture up there.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what equipment are you using? Did you
for this? I'm just using the Rode Podster. Cast Road pod base.
Because
I'm using the Rodecaster as the preamp. Going into my laptop, I'm using a Logitech Brio camera because I'm in front of a giant. I'm using my laptop in front of a giant iMac that sucks that I can't use. I use the giant iMac for just VO recording. Like I'll log in with NBC on the giant iMac that's behind me. I just have a wall of computers.
Yeah, well,
and none of them work.
You're watching. I'm on a Mac right now too, and I have the Rode Pod mic, and then
we have the same mic, right? This is the same.
No, mine's the smaller one. See, mine's from here to here. Mine's the smaller one.
It's Procaster. Procaster.
Yeah, and then I have my EV 320 that I use for radio.
Oh, see, you have more radio. I use the Sennheiser 416 in the booth.
Okay. Because I was just curious what you were using and what you were using for the board, because I redid my whole layout this summer because I was bored and had nothing to do, and I figured I got to do something.
Yeah, it's fun.
So I redid the whole layout of it, and I was just curious what people are using, because I'm very impressed with the sound quality that I'm hearing. Because
good.
It is very impressive.
I think it was like $200, $300.
Yeah. I've looked at them. This was
$99. $1,000.
Yeah.
I've had it for years, and provided I don't screw it up, I'll have it for many more years. But I couldn't believe this sound quality, $200 or $300. I mean, it is echoey in here because I'm in a big room.
Right.
But
the interesting thing about it is equipment has dropped so much in price in the last 5 years, even the last 2 years, with COVID and the pandemic, everybody getting involved in this, that I think it's very interesting that it's affordable now.
And also everybody has a podcast because of it.
Because when I started, here's my Electro Voice 635A that I used to use. And this was a $200 mic at one time.
Oh my God, I love it. That looks like a Bob Barker Price is Right mic almost.
Well, it's not long enough.
Oh yeah, it has to be long and a little skinnier at the top.
Right.
That's awesome.
But anyway, so another question I have for you, because I've been meeting a lot of people, and I know you got to leave in 5 minutes. But a lot of people I've been talking to are doing voiceovers now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there that much of a need for voiceover artists?
No, it's extremely glutted.
Okay, then how come everybody's getting work?
Oh, they are? Or is everybody getting work? Okay, good for them.
They're doing video games. They're doing the one is the female spokesman for 7-Eleven. She's 40 years old and she sounds like she's 16.
Yeah.
And she's doing that. And I was just curious because you've been doing voiceover work for how long now?
I've been doing it for like 20 years, but I got a funny message. This lady wanted to have a call with me about being an AI voice. Okay. And then I got on the call and I was like, oh, that's interesting or whatever. I don't really want to do it. You know, I know the nightmare stories of Susan Bennett, who was the original Siri, had to sue Apple, and it was a whole thing. Yes. It's public, though. I'm not like, divulging anything, but but I had the call there and then I said, well, what are the applications? And she literally goes, well, we're going to use it in promos like TNT or some network was interested. I don't know if it was TNT. Don't quote me on that, but some network was like, well, we can use an AI voice to voice our promos. And I was literally like, well, hold on.
Why?
That's my job. I do that for NBC. I don't want to be the AI voice. So then I don't have a job. And then I was like, I don't think we're a match. I want to have a job.
So
I don't think AI is going to take over though. I mean, it will, but I mean,
I've seen heard some of the programs recently because all of a sudden they're popping up on Facebook now. And to me, it doesn't have the same warmth. It doesn't have the same sound. And
you have to have a human voice. I mean, that's one thing where I love Clubhouse so much is because you can really I don't know, to me, I just, for lack of a better word, resonate with hearing people's voices.
Right. I got you.
And you know what I mean? I like connecting that way, but no, I think that there's always going to be a lot of reasons to have voices. I think part of the problem is that because everybody now has a microphone, people who, a job that used to cost $50,000, you would get paid $50,000. Someone will do it for $500. And
right.
That becomes a problem for all of us when things get diluted, but also it's like, well, if that's the direction the market's going, that's the direction the market's going. And then eventually people will get frustrated and say, I can't make a living at this and give it up. And then, There's always going to be high paying clients. There's going to be low paying clients and bottom feeders in every business. Right. So
right.
I don't know how to solve it. I wish if I had the answer to that, I would probably, it's like a multi-million-dollar issue, because it's a problem.
I know a guy that he does just, he basically does radio liners, and that's all he does. And he does production work. And he's saying the same thing, that it's just, it's oversaturated right now. And there's these fly by night organizations on Facebook and everywhere else. We can do it for we can do each clip for $25. And I
guess it's just guys sit in front of the mic and they're ready to knock out the liners. And whereas like I have a client who comes to me and it's gone down from, it used to be $300 a page. Now it's $100 a page. Wow. And they want to get extra lines and you know what I mean? And
oh yeah, I got you.
It's changed. It's changed a lot.
So before I let you go, what are you reading for NBC this afternoon?
When does this come out? When is
you and I talking? Oh, well, it'll be out later this evening.
Okay. Hold on. Where's my email from the producer? Later, Jimmy Fallon welcomes Daniel Craig, NBC Tonight.
And that's enough to pay your that one. That's the only one
I just made $1 million. No,
I was just going to say, you just made a mortgage payment.
No, it adds up, but no, that's definitely not a mortgage payment. Yeah.
How many cuts do you do a day?
Today we're only doing one. We did some for The Voice yesterday. I do a lot of the promos for The Voice.
Okay.
It depends. Sometimes they have you on a bunch of things. Sometimes they don't have you on a bunch of things. Obviously, it's more fun when things are launching and then they make a bunch of promos and you make more money. Right. It's not like it used to be. They used to put these guys on retainer for like $1 million a year. Not the same anymore. Trust me. Like I know how much I make and the guys do it like 5 times as much as I do.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So have you done before I let you go, have you done anything for Fallon recently?
I mean, I just do those sweepers introducing the guest. Okay. I don't do their regular Fallon promos anymore.
Actually, have you done anything recently for Kimmel is what I was thinking.
Yes. I did Nancy Pelosi.
When?
Apparently Nancy Pelosi made some phone call behind the batter box at some baseball game. And we dubbed in what she actually said on that call. It aired on September 30th. I don't know if the sketch is out there. I haven't found it.
Do me a favor. The next time you do something like that, let me know.
I always forget. I will.
Because the thing is that I don't usually stay up that late, or I don't set my DVR because
I don't either. And I forget that I do it. And I wish I had a copy of it. And then because one day I'm going to be old. I'm going to be like, your mom did Nancy Pelosi for Kimmel. I'm always their Siri and their Alexa too. I do a ton of those.
Right.
And I forget to get the sketches. And
so anyways, Anna, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me. Now go to work and make a mortgage payment.
Happy drinking moonshine.
Yes, thank you.
Bye,
and I'll get in touch with you later about the other situation. So
sounds good.
Thank you very much. You have a great one.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much to Anna Vocino for joining me today here one-on-one with Bill Alexander. It's always a blast to hear her and talk to her. And now you have a face that goes with the voice that you've heard on Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, NBC, and everywhere else. So thank you very much, Anna, for joining me. And thank you for watching us here and listening to us here one-on-one with Bill Alexander. You guys have a great one. We'll talk to you next time.